Now, I think we can all agree on the fact that having success multiplies both opportunities as well as obligations. In other words, the more success you have, the noisier life tends to become as well, by default. And all this means that often you also have less space to rest and to think. So how can we combat this? Of course, we need vacations or holidays, for example, but there are much more ways to create some peace and calm in our own day-to-day lives as well. And in this video, I'd like to make a case for the fact that you need a calm physical space for you to retreat from the pressures of your life. I mentioned the word retreat, and I think it's a very interesting noun and a verb, because it's not just about holidays. Of course, we can go on a retreat somewhere, but we can also treat them as these micro retirements, because if we think of in French, for example, retraite, it's actually the word for retirement that you have when you're old. But the verb itself also conveys this idea of withdrawing, of stepping back from somewhere, which is the key idea here. What we want to do every single day so that we feel a bit disconnected from our work, because we don't want it to be our whole being, because there is lots of life to be lived outside of our work. Even though it would be really connected to our identity, we still need to step back from it. So in practice, it can almost feel like an escape from the pressures of your work. But let's think about it more so as a recovery system or a recovery rhythm that you need to have in your life in order to have a sustainable, that you can reach for your excellent standards, but sustainably, and have great career longevity. But this idea of having this space to retreat to is obviously not novel, and it doesn't come only from my own head. This is an idea that many legendary icons have spoken about. The original idea for this video came actually from this legendary fashion designer called Carolina Herrera, who spoke about the importance of having your own space to retreat. I think in many interviews, but at least in this one interview, it's really stuck in my mind that how she spoke about the importance of it.
Now, what's your favorite place to go when you disappear?
My house, my room. I adore it. And you know why? Because I feel like peace. And you have to be alone, and you have to be in silence sometimes, no?
I agree.
In silence and nobody around. And I think everybody needs to know how to be alone at some point.
Yeah,
You
I
need
agree.
to. You have to cultivate inside you. You have to have interest in things that you don't do with many people. Just do it on your own. So I think that's very important for your mind. I do that a lot.
So it's something so simple that she just has her own room in her New York apartment. And I think it's kind of cute, because often we think that kids have their own rooms. That's normal, that they create their own little world in their own rooms. But as adults, maybe we have entire apartments that we can decorate as much as we like. But I think it's a pretty good idea that actually all adults should have their own room as well, right? And I'm not saying like any room, like a room that truly feels you, that reflects your personality perfectly, that makes you feel home and safe and calm. So we know that our environment shapes our behavior, but how often do we actually forget to mold our environment to make it easier to do the things that we actually want to do? Especially in terms of our work, and then retreating from that work, there should be a separator in some way, that you almost have two lives, that you live one at work and one at home. And Carolina Herrera talks about this too.
So you have to have two different lives. You have your life, your professional life, which is in the limelight, it's in public. And then you have to have your private life, and I have separated that very well. Because, as you know, when I come back from the office at 5, 6 o'clock or whatever time, I don't discuss any more business. You have never heard me at home discussing all the things that I have done during the day.
Oh, just realized I dropped a ring. Just as a last point, I just think it's so fascinating how even just the matter of how neat your home is can affect your mental state so much. Because at least I've noticed, for example, that I have a direct correlation between how good my mental state is and how neat my kitchen countertops are. If all surfaces are clean, my mind feels clean. If they're not, I feel deranged. No, not really deranged, but you know what I mean. Now, in this next video, I'll discuss how you can create more serenity in your work and your life by knowing when to say yes or no to opportunities and thus create more career longevity. So see you there. Bisous!